I want to read the last paragraph of Part 1, Chapter 6, in which Gulliver has to cope with a scandal. Now, Gulliver has been sucked into court politics, and it turns out the Lilliputians, like the British, are like courts everywhere, Swift implies, are, well, small and petty and resentful. And, they're going to thank Gulliver for defeating the entire enemy navy in one afternoon by deciding whether or not to execute him or put out his eyes over their own egomania, rivalry, and of course the suspicion that he's sleeping with someone else's wife. Gulliver ends chapter 6 with what is a parody or a copy of a kind of normal thing an 18th century political figure would do, in which he formally denies the rumors about himself and some respectable ladies, somebody else's wife, someone's respectable unmarried daughter. I want you to know, and he follows the exact forms. This is a classic moment of Gulliver's unreliable narration and the irony at Gulliver's expense. Gulliver is always very captivated by the details and misses the big picture and lacks total common sense. I am here obliged to vindicate the reputation of an excellent lady who was an innocent sufferer upon my account. The treasurer took a fancy to be jealous of his wife from the malice of some evil tongues, who informed him that her grace had taken a violent affection for my person, and the court scandal ran for some time that she once came privately to my lodgings. This I solemnly declare to be a most infamous falsehood, without any grounds farther than that her grace was pleased to treat me with all innocent marks of freedom and friendship. I own she came often to my house, but always publicly, never without, nor ever without 3 more in the coach, which were usually her sister and young daughter and some particular acquaintance. But this was common to many other ladies of the court. And I still appeal to my servants round, whether they at any time saw a coach at my door without knowing what persons were in it. On those occasions, when a servant had given me notice, my custom was to go immediately to the door, and after paying my respects, to take up the coach and 2 horses very carefully in my hands, for if there were 6 horses, the postilion was always on hardest 4, and place them on a table where I fixed a movable rim quite round to 5 inches high to prevent accidents. And I have often had 4 coaches and horses at once at my table full of company, whilst I sat in my chair leaning my face towards them, and when I was engaged with one set, the coachman would gently drive the others round my table. I have passed many an afternoon very agreeably in these conversations, but I defy the treasurer or his 2 informers. I will name them and let them make their best of it, Clustrel and Drumlow, to prove that any person ever came to me incognito except the Secretary of Redversal, who was sent by express command of His Imperial Majesty, as I have before related. I should not have dwelt so long upon this particular, if it had not been a point wherein the reputation of a great lady is so nearly concerned, to say nothing of my own, though I had then the honor to be a Nardac, which the treasurer himself is not. For all the world knows, he is only a Clumglum, a title inferior by 1 degree, as that of a marquis is to a duke in England, although I allow he preceded me in right of his post. These false informations, which I afterwards came to the knowledge of by an accident not proper to mention, made Flimnap the treasurer show his lady for some time an ill countenance, and me a worse. And although he were at last undeceived and reconciled to her, yet I lost all credit with him, and found my interest decline very fast to the emperor himself, who was indeed too much governed by that favorite. Thank you, Gulliver. That clears it up. I want to point out a few things here. We have that digression in the middle where he talks about having the coaches of various nobility moving around his table and chatting. I mean, that's the kind of the whimsy part, right? The fun of Gulliver, the part that goes into children's books. We're like, okay, he's got like 4 different coaches of VIPs driving around his table. He's chatting with one group, the other 3 characters roll around. Okay, that's fun. That's terrific. We can put that. In the Christmas window where Higby's used to be. Fabulous. But then there's this joke. Okay, I want to deny, and this is done totally straightforwardly. He denies. He's furious. How dare you accuse this? And my honor is it's her reputation. It's my reputation. And by the way, I'm a Nardac. Right? He takes being a Duke of Lilliput very seriously. You're only a glum. Okay, he's totally drunk the Kool-Aid. He's totally bought the bit. He believes he's actually thinks that being a Nardak in the favor of the Emperor of Lilliput is a big deal, and he deserves some respect from the Glums. Not to mention the fact he should get some respect because he's a giant, man. Because he's 12 times, he's 1,728 times their size. They've done the math themselves. Ask my servants if anybody ever came to my door incognito. Ask it, like they say, people are saying the treasurer's wife came to my house in secret. Ask my servants if anybody ever came in secret. I appeal to them. Ask them. First of all, this is being published in England. What are servants going to do? And the same thing. I'm going to name those dirty low informers, Cholesterol and Drunlow. Take that. Answer it if you dare. Okay, this is all what an actual English gentleman who's been accused of this kind of thing does in London in 1726. Ask the servants, how about the fact that sex with this person is physically impossible? The joke is he's going through this incredibly circumstantial thing where he's accusing people of malice and talking about asking my servants if anyone showed up. And let me tell you about how we dealt with the carriages. And okay, one person came incognito to my door in a carriage, but that was a friend of mine that the emperor sent him. Blah, 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 blah. She is 6 inches tall, man. You don't have to tell. Like, it's easy. Who would ever believe this? It is a ridiculous thing. Gulliver misses the most obvious, the most important part. He is caught up in the trivial, nay, Lilliputian detail about being like one rank ahead of the treasurer in terms of nobility, about the servants, about who he knows who has informed against him. He doesn't say, look, I can't actually have sex with this person because I am vastly larger with her. It's physically impossible. Also, I'm not having sex with any honeybees, right? Or ants. You don't need this much detail, Gulliver. We get it. We get it. Why don't you?